Chapter 13. Strategic Countermoves. The valley settled into uneasy calm after the morning's clash. Smoke curled lazily from burned timbers, the acrid scent mingling with the earthy dampness of the slopes. Raiden moved along the barrier, observing quietly. The defenders worked methodically, reinforcing weakened points, shifting stones and timber, checking ropes and wedges. Every motion had purpose. Every motion mattered. He did not speak much, but gestures and half-formed phrases sufficed. The tribe had learned to follow the rhythm of his mind as much as his instructions. He crouched near a section of wall that had taken the brunt of the Roman tower's approach. The timber had flexed but not broken, and the ground beneath had been compacted unevenly by the weight. He ran a careful hand along it, measuring the grain and moisture, noting how it might react under renewed pressure. His senses recorded everything: sound, angle, texture. Each detail mapped in his mind, forming calculations that he could not yet express in words. But the tribe followed his guidance as if they could see the thought itself. "They will not stop," he murmured to the tall warrior, voice low. His accent was still rough in the tribal language, but the tone carried urgency. The warrior nodded, understanding the unspoken message. The Romans would return, and this time they would test more than wood and soil. They would test resolve, coordination, and the limits of the valley itself. Raiden crouched behind a reinforced section of the wall, eyes fixed on the tree line. From the distance, the glint of shields, faint even at this range, indicated that Roman units were already moving, preparing for another assault. His mind traced the patterns from the previous day, predicting likely points of attack. He began mapping contingencies, sequences, and counters, imagining every possible strike before it came. The valley had survived thus far by instinct. Now it would survive by design. He gestured to the older man, pointing toward a low ridge that could be leveraged for height. The men understood. Small platforms were constructed overnight, giving archers elevated positions to target advancing engineers and scouts. Raiden instructed on firing sequences, moving groups subtly to maximize coverage while minimizing exposure. The defenders followed instinctively, trusting the alien mind that moved with uncanny precision among them. By midday, the Romans began probing again. Engineers crept forward under shielded cover, testing the outer barriers, while infantry advanced in tight formation. Each Roman step carried discipline. Each movement revealed the rhythm of a machine honed over centuries. Raiden's eyes narrowed as he traced the motion, anticipating the points where wood might splinter, where soil might shift, where human instinct might falter. He whispered corrections to the tribe, moving swiftly from one weak point to another, reinforcing, bracing, and redirecting. When the first ram appeared, its wheels dug into softened soil. He gestured to the defenders to redirect weight against the ground and use planks as leverage points to destabilize the motion. They obeyed instantly, and the ram shuddered under uneven pressure, slowing its approach. Raiden noted every adjustment, storing it in his mind as part of a growing tactical library. Each Roman action was predictable, not in language but in function. Strike, test, adjust. Strike again. A volley of arrows rose from the Roman formation, arcing toward the elevated platforms. Raiden quickly directed defenders to tilt shields, adjust posture, and release fire in staggered sequences, striking before the enemy could react. Each correction sharpened the pattern recognition of the tribe itself. They were learning from him even as he learned from them. His alien cognition meshed seamlessly with their instinctive knowledge. Together, they became more than the sum of their parts. The Roman tower pressed forward next, larger than the one before. Archers perched atop loosed bolts as the structure lumbered against the reinforced wall. Raiden analyzed its weight distribution, predicting how the wheels might sink and how the timber might splinter. He directed defenders to exploit those weak points subtly, creating miniature collapses that did not destroy, but delayed, forcing the Romans to readjust. Each delay compounded tension within the advancing line. Hours passed in a blur of calculation, motion, and anticipation. Raiden's attention never faltered. The Romans adapted, learning from minor setbacks, but he adapted faster. He began anticipating the engineers' corrective measures, directing defenders to counter before actions could complete. Every small victory reinforced confidence in the tribe. They began to rely on him not out of fear, but out of recognition that he could see the siege in ways they could not. By evening, the daylight assault slowed. Romans withdrew just beyond arrow range, regrouping and reassessing their approach. The valley remained intact, the walls bruised but holding, and the defenders weary yet alive. Raiden stood atop the embankment, scanning the tree line, his mind cataloging every detail of the Roman methods. He did not yet speak their language fluently, but he understood it through movement, rhythm, and intent. He had learned to anticipate the machine before it struck. The tall warrior approached, wiping sweat and ash from his brow. "They will come again," he said quietly, not a question, but confirmation. Raiden nodded, voice calm but firm. "Yes, and next time, we will be ready before they even arrive." His words were simple, but in his mind, the calculation of next moves had already begun. The valley's defense had become not just reaction, but strategy. For the first time, Raiden felt the subtle thrill of control. The Romans were not invincible. They were disciplined, relentless, and intelligent. Yet now they faced a mind that could see the pattern behind every motion, anticipate every correction, and guide a human tribe to survive against a machine that had conquered continents. And as the sun dipped behind distant hills, the first flickers of torchlight appeared in the far tree line once more. The Romans were regrouping. The next assault was already in motion. Raiden's eyes narrowed. This was far from over, but for the first time, he felt a quiet certainty that the valley could endure, not by chance, but by design. There is always a story to be told out here in the frontier, as long as there is someone to listen, like, and subscribe, and join us again for more.